Also today, because, you know, I was thinking, what is this book that I really liked? There's a total beginner that told me about Tantra. And then when it's already finished, then I remembered and I was looking for it and I found it in the book deposit, or what is called depository, something like that. And it's this one, Journey Without a Goal by Chogyam Trungpa. And, you know, it tells you about exactly the 5 Buddha families, the 5 wisdoms, the five delusions that it purifies. And I read it during the Vajrasattva retreat. I was doing Vajrasattva retreat at Tushita right at the beginning of my spiritual practice because I had time. Yeah, so I was curious. So I thought, okay, I'll sign up for this 3-month retreat. Why not? And but none of us understood much of what we were doing, you know, all these things, Sambhoga Kaya, Dharma Kaya, all these Kayas. We were like, what was this? And then Annie Karen, who was supposed to lead us, after 2 weeks, she got hepatitis. So we were left on our own, which was not so bad because we had to really, in the library, we had to find these books. And we had to look it up. What does it all mean? And we helped each other. And also, because afterwards I led quite a lot of Vajrasattva retreats. And because it's a purification retreat, a lot of dirt is coming up. And usually there's quite, you know, it's not very harmonious. Like you start to hate just about everybody at least once in the retreat. And because for 3 months you're in the same gompa together with the same people doing 4 sessions a day, no day off. It's like, wow, it's really heavy. But we never had any of these problems because we didn't want to worry Karen, who was sick in her room, you know, I mean, hepatitis is really heavy. And so we wanted her to be comfortable that everything is going well. So we really pulled ourselves together. And so I think it was quite a good retreat, actually. So, and I learned a lot in this retreat because we had nobody to explain. So that was a good one. And this was one of the books. So that was one of them, Journey Without a Goal. And the other one was, I think it's by Lama Govinda, Foundation of Tibetan Mysticism or something like that. Also, I found very, very helpful. And then, of course, you know, the best one is Lama Yeshe's Introduction to Tantra, I think it's called. Because it really gives you the essence why you practice Tantra, that you have to come from your head to your heart, and you have to let go of a scientific mind and how can this be, this. You need a lot of trust and a lot of faith, which should be based on renunciation, bodhicitta, and emptiness. And then it works, but it's difficult to say how it works because you have to do it. Yeah, and then you feel, and then you really feel that it touches something more subtle than what we call the intellect. And this is why. Okay, so I think we start with the sadhana in this case. Do you want to do a screen share or what shall we do?
Yes, I will screen share it.
Okay. Thank you. Somebody already, Lars. Wow, Lars, you're perfect. You already give people the link for the Journey Without a Goal.
Annie Losang, I also wanted to share briefly with everybody and also with yourself, because we are not yet so far with this, but we are working together with Paula to offer a course throughout the summertime, probably 5 evenings on the weekdays, not yet completely finalized which days, but it will be called Demystifying Tantra. And the goal of the course is similar as well. So to get a little bit of more understanding for people without tantric initiation, what it is all about, and also experiential practice experience of tantric meditation. So that's just FYI, because we will definitely reach out also to Longku and to Gendo Drupa, of course, to also invite people who are interested for that course.
Yeah, no, it is perfect. This is really well, because you see, otherwise Western people miss out on a lot of methods that are so powerful, because they say, well, I can't relate to it, it's too religious, I don't understand, and this and that, because we try to understand in the wrong way, in a way. You know, we try to understand something that we can't really understand, and maybe just a simple example is you have never seen chocolate cake, in case you like chocolate cake. You've never seen it, you don't know how it tastes and this and that, and you want to find out how it tastes before tasting it, before you eat it. You know, you say, oh, I'm only going to put it in my mouth when I know how it tastes. And this is a little bit the Tantra thing with Western people. And we're so lucky, like in the Tibetan tradition, that it is still so present, because in many other traditions it's not there anymore. And I find it, for me, a really good tool to get a glimpse of the nature of my mind, and to get a glimpse, but really tiny, but still, you know, to get a glimpse of emptiness. Otherwise, if it's just intellectual about the tenets and the four schools and this and that, and, you know, object of negation, of course it's important to know that, but still, then it's just in the head, and you never get an experience. And as we all know, Buddhism is not, Buddhism is an experiential vehicle. You have to experience it, and everybody experiences it in a different way. So if you don't try it out, then you miss out. So I think it's perfect that you are doing this. Yeah, it's great. See, for the Longku, the problem is we have so many people who don't speak English. You know, like Bern is totally different from Zurich, and also in the Gedunjupa also, they have quite a lot of them who don't understand English. So we would have to organize translations, as we did with Paula anyway. Yes. I translated into German, and Severin translated, or Raphael translated into French when Paula was teaching on Mahamudra.
Well, if there will be a need for like channels, additional translation channels for simultaneous translations, we will make sure to provide the possibility, but we of course don't have really anybody to translate, so that would be something we can organize, definitely.
Okay.
I'm aware that not all of people understand English.
Yeah, because otherwise it's a shame, isn't it? And it worked quite well for Paula in the Mahamudra retreat, I think. You know, people were very happy that they could follow.
Yes.
Okay, so let's do it. Let's do the sadhana, and then if you have questions at the end, you're very welcome to ask. All right. Yeah, if you can just scroll to where it starts. This is maybe good to say this, because this is from the one who made the sadhana, so still very nice.
Is big enough, small, too small?
If you can make it a little bit bigger, I wouldn't mind, actually.
Oh, okay. I see.
So it's a bit more comfortable.
Like this?
Yeah. It's a bit the same as before, but it's all right. It's okay. Okay. So, you know, again, it starts, this whole thing, spiritual master, guru, and all this. It is like, it's so important that you, even though you don't have a personal guru yet, if you want to make progress on this path, because this is where you receive the blessings, this is where even Chadu Rinpoche the other day, he said, you know, a very intellectual teaching on emptiness. He said, like, what you need in order to understand emptiness is the blessings of the guru. And he put this first. And I know it sounds terrible for Westerners, but, you know, what you mean to say? I can't make this alone. Like, purifying your negativities, creating positive energy, and on top of it, the blessings of your guru. Because talk to people who have a guru, because when you have a guru and you think about your guru, your heart opens and you're okay, and you feel protected, and you're joyful, and you're happy. You know, unless he gives you tasks that you don't really want to do. This is another thing. But in general, it's like you really have a role model that you want to, that you allow to guide you. And this is important, because, you know, without this, it's very difficult. If you do have a guru, then you think your guru is Avalokiteshvara. In this case, it's His Holiness Dalai Lama anyway, so we think and we say these words, but we really try to feel them as we say them. As if you have just fallen in love and you look at your person, your beloved person, and you just say, I love you so much. It's coming out of your mouth, but it's actually coming from here. To my spiritual master, Avalokiteshvara, the full moon-like essence of the Buddha's vast compassion and the radiant white nectar of their all-inspiring strengths, I pay my deep respect. I shall now disseminate to all other beings the standard practice of this profound yoga. Okay, then we can continue. Okay, then it's taking refuge. So again, before we say these words, Namo Guru Bhya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharma Sanghaya. Again, Guru is like, you see, without the Guru, for us, there would be no Buddhism. There might be a Buddha statue in our garden or in our bathroom or something, like many other people, but we would have no ideas what the Buddha has said. We wouldn't know about our nature of being totally pure. So, and without the Buddha, there's no gurus. So then it totally goes together. Yeah, so this is why it's very much included, especially in Tantra. So taking refuge, then we think, what does it mean for me, taking refuge? Again, until you, how to say, from the head to the heart. We're so fortunate. We are exposed to methods that will bring us to a goal that we all want, free from suffering and having the skills and the means to help all sentient beings, to be totally rid of all kind of disturbing emotions. And we have these methods. I mean, come on, this is amazing. How can we not be happy? We just have to do it. I do admit it's not easy, but we can do it. So then again, when we take refuge, not just in a theistic way, oh, the Buddha up there and me, the poor sinner down here. But really, this is where I want to go. I want to become normal. I want to be rid. I don't want to be under the control of my negative emotions anymore, or unhelpful emotions. I want to be fully awakened. So when we do this 3 times each, and we go maybe a bit slow. So the first 3 times when we say Namo Guru Bhya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, you think that white light is coming from the Guru and the 3 objects of refuge, entering your crown and getting rid of all the hindrances for us to understand emptiness. And when we do it 3 times the second time, you think that golden light is coming and giving you all the blessings and all the conditions that we need in order to be able to understand emptiness. Namo Guru Bhya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Guru Bhya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Guru Bhya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Then you think through this white light that has washed through you, flushed out all the hindrances. We already have received some kind of blessings. And now already our body starts to feel more light, more spacious, not so solid, not so heavy as it seems. And then we fill this spaciousness with golden light, and it gives us all the conditions that we need to be able to understand emptiness and to develop the good heart. Namo Guru Bhya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Guru Bhya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Guru Bhya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. In the spiritual masters, I take refuge. In the awakened one, I take refuge. In his truth, I take refuge. In the spiritual community, I take refuge. Then generating bodhicitta. In the supreme awakened one, his truth and the spiritual community, I seek refuge until becoming enlightened. By the merit from practicing giving and other perfections, may I accomplish full awakening for the benefit of all. In the supreme awakened one, his truth and the spiritual community, I seek refuge until becoming enlightened. By the merit from practicing giving and other perfections, may I accomplish full awakening for the benefit of all. In the Supreme Awakened One is truth, the spiritual community. I seek refuge until becoming enlightened. By the merit from practicing giving and other perfections, may I accomplish full awakening for the benefit of all. Then we totally open up our heart. We do the 4 immeasurable thoughts. Again, sometimes it's good to just think about one person that you're very happy when the person is happy, and then you just make it bigger and you expand it. And then we go like, why only these few people that we call our friends? Why not everybody? Yeah, so, you know, kind of, wouldn't it be wonderful if all beings had happiness and the cause of happiness? Same way, you think about somebody that you really want them to be happy. You feel it in your body, in your chest, in your heart. And we expand it to all beings and think, why only these few people? May all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. And then we take responsibility and we think, I will give him happiness, or I will lead him to a state of happiness and the causes for happiness. Then when we're so bold and so courageous, then we think, ooh, but how am I going to do that? And then we ask for inspiration and blessings. So you have the object of refuge in front of you, Avalokiteshvara, which is your guru. You know, even if visualization is difficult or whatever, just think, you know, Buddhas are always there. So we ask, please, Guru Deity, bless me to be able, or inspire me to be able to do so. Then again, you think about this person that you really care for, and you see that the person is suffering, and we feel the compassion in our heart, spontaneously wanting to help, wanting to free them from suffering and the cause of suffering. So we have this very spontaneously for a few people, and then we can ask ourselves again, why limit myself like this? May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. Then the purpose of my life, I will free them from suffering and the causes of suffering, or I will show them how to free themselves from suffering and the causes of suffering. Please, Guru Deity, inspire me to be, or bless me to be able to do so. And you feel the support, the guidance of Guru Avalokiteshvara. We only need to ask. Then becoming aware that each being has Buddha nature, which we can never lose because it's our nature, no matter how covered it is, no matter how hidden it is. You know, it is always calling us because we want to be happy. So may all sentient beings never be parted from the happiness that has no suffering, liberation, and full awakening. I will lead them to that state. Please, Guru Deity, inspire me, bless me to be able to do so. Then where we have to start, or at least I have to start, may all sentient beings abide in equanimity without attachment or aversion for near and far. To just remind ourselves, and there also asking for blessings. May I be able to see everybody as equal, deserving happiness, and no need for suffering. May I have an open heart for all beings, and then lead all other beings to that state. Please inspire me, bless me to be able to do so. Okay, so we just do it once because, you know, because we meditated on it. It's okay, we can continue. And then the purification. Why we do this is because we become aware that whatever appears to us does not exist the way that it appears, so we dissolve it into emptiness. Just like, you know, a picture on a screen fading away. By the surface of the earth in every direction, be stainless and pure without roughness or fault, as smooth as the palm of a child's soft hand and as naturally polished as lapis lazuli. So we train the mind to see things as pure, but for that we need to dissolve it into emptiness first. It's like if you have a picture that is already painted, first you need to put some acid on it so that all the paint that got on there previously kind of goes away, is dissolved, and then you can paint a new picture. So with Tantra, we go into emptiness, paint a new pure picture that is free from suffering. So however a pure land looks for you after having dissolved this suffering universe here, then you visualize that, because everything is visualization anyway, what we see. So we train the mind to see things as pure, free from suffering. And then we fill it with very beautiful offerings. May the material offerings of gods and humans, both these set before me and those visualized, like a cloud of the peerless offerings of Samantabhadra, pervade and encompass the vastness of space. That's another thing. If you do tantric practices, it's really good to have an altar where you put out this very, kind of conventional water offerings, and we visualize, and it becomes very big. So it's not necessary. Making an altar is not leading to you to enlightenment, but it really helps the practice. This is why, those are just methods to help you. If you find it useless and you think that's nonsense, and you get criticized maybe by your partner who doesn't practice Buddhism, then don't do it. But if you feel that it helps you, first thing in the morning, you fill your water bowls and you have a Buddha statue, which is the body of the Buddha, a text, which is the speech of the Buddha, and the stupa, which is the mind of the Buddha. It reminds you of why you're doing this and the purpose of your life. Really helpful. Then the multiplying mantra is to understand I was making these offerings, the offerings themselves, and the ones who are receiving the offerings totally free of any inherent existence. Om Namo Bhagavate Vajrasara Pramatana Tathagataya Arhate Samyak Sambodhaya Tayata Om Vajema Tese Vajema Vidya Ma Bodhichitta Vajema Bodhimenda Pasakramana Vaje Sarva Karma Avarana Vishuddhana Vaje Soha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vajrasara Pramatana Tathagataya Arhate Samyak Sambodhaya Tayata Om Vajema Tese Vajema Vidya Ma Bodhichitta Vajema Bodhimenda Pasakramana Vaje Sarva Karma Avarana Vishuddhana Vaje Soha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vajrasara Pramatana Tathagataya Arhate Samyak Sambodhaya Tayata Om Vajema Tese Vajema Vidya Vajema Bodhichitta Bodhimenda Pasakramana Vaje Sarva Karma Avarana Vishuddhana Vaje Soha. Then we can continue. It's usually, I think, power of the truth. Yeah. By the force of the truth of the three jewels of refuge, by the firm inspiration from all bodhisattvas and Buddhas, by the power of the Buddhas who have fully completed their collection of both merit and insight, by the might of the void, inconceivable and pure, may all these offerings be hereby transformed into their actual nature of voidness and arise, again as offerings. And we think the Buddhas have received all these things that I've offered on my altar here, or that I have visualized. Yeah, so this kind of confidence that it's not for nothing, that the Buddhas, whatever we offer, actually receive these offerings. Same way as, you give you give a piece of chocolate to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he bites into it and he says, wow, delicious. How would you feel? Yeah, he's eating my chocolate. So then with the Buddhas, we can think they're taking my offerings. Wonderful. It's all in your mind. Yeah, this is the thing. And just because it's all in your mind, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It has a function. Okay, now the visualization. In the space of the Dharmakaya of great spontaneous bliss. So this is like bliss and emptiness, union combined together. In the midst of billowing clouds of magnificent offerings, upon a sparkling jeweled throne supported by 8 snow lions, on a seat composed of a lotus in bloom, the sun and the moon, sits supreme exalted Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of compassion, assuming the form of a monk wearing saffron-colored robes. O my Vajradhara master, kind in all 3 ways, holy Losang, Tenzin Gyatso. So when you say the word, not just the word, visualize His Holiness Dalai Lama. Hear him speak, don't just use, again, just kind of thoughts. Hear him speak, hear his voice, see his form as a human being, but knowing, yeah, to me, he appears as a human being, but in actuality is Avalokiteshvara. But I can't see the light body of Avalokiteshvara. So then when you see His Holiness Dalai Lama as Avalokiteshvara, you receive the blessings of a Buddha. Okay, where were we? Oh, my Vajradhara master, kind in all 3 ways. Yeah, holy Losang Tenzin Gyatso, endowed with a glowing fair complexion and a radiant smiling face, your right hand at your heart in a gesture expounding the Dharma, holds the stem of 1 white lotus that supports a book and a sword. Your left hand resting in meditative pose holds a 1,000-spoked wheel. You are clothed in the 3 saffron robes of a monk, are crowned with a pointed golden hat of a pandit. Your aggregates, sensory spheres, senses and objects, as well as your limbs, are a mandala complete with the 5 Buddhas and their consorts, male and female bodhisattvas, and the wrathful protectors. Okay? So you know that, this is a complete Buddha. So these 5 Buddha families, they're not separate. Each Buddha is kind of, I don't know why they're called families, but each Buddha has these 5 wisdoms and, the 5 directions, the 5 elements, and so on. So encircled by a halo of 5 brilliant colors, which is these 5 Buddha families, my master is seated in full Vajra posture, sending forth a network of cloud-like self-emanations to tame the minds of all sentient beings. Okay, so you visualize from his body, like lights are going out and transforming everybody into Avalokiteshvara. So we're surrounded by Avalokiteshvaras now. And within his heart sits Avalokiteshvara, a wisdom being with 1 face and 4 arms. His upper 2 hands are placed together. His lower 2 hands hold the crystal rosary and white lotus. I think in one evening we went through that, what it means. And he's adorned with jeweled ornaments and heavenly raiment. Over his left shoulder, an antelope skin is draped, and cross-legged he's seated on a silver moon and lotus. The white silver Hri, a concentration being at his heart, emits brilliant colored lights in the 10 directions. So it's, even though he has the form of His Holiness Dalai Lama, the way we know him in his human form, but the body is made out of light. Okay. Yeah, like a hologram in a way. And so then that's why you see in his heart is seated Avalokiteshvara with 4 arms, and in the heart of Avalokiteshvara is the silver Hri on a moon disk. So on my master's brow, so kind of inside the body, is a white Om, meaning he has the body of a Buddha. Within his throat, a red Ah, he has the speech of a Buddha. At his heart, a blue Hung, he has the mind of a Buddha, from which many lights shine out in myriad directions, inviting the 3 jewels of refuge to dissolve into him, transforming him into the collected essence of the objects of refuge, knowing that now he is all the Buddhas are him. So it's called inviting the wisdom beings, so that we have more trust that there's really a fully awakened being in the space in front of us. So then we do the 7-limb prayer. Again, these are just words. Try to have the mind of joy, respect, devotion, then the mind of offering, then the mind of confession, and so on. Yeah, again, it's all mind training, this whole thing. Your liberating body is fully adorned with all the signs of a Buddha. Your melodious speech, complete with all 60 rhythms, flows without hesitation. Your vast, profound mind, filled with wisdom and compassion, is beyond all conception. I prostrate to the wheel of these 3 secret adornments of your body, speech, and mind. The qualities of a Buddha's body, speech, and mind, you can really read it up in the Lamrim. So you know who is in the space in front of you, an extraordinary being, who is the only one who is normal, because we are not normal, we're kind of crazy. Then next one. Material offerings of my own and those of others, the actual objects of those that I visualize, body and wealth, and all virtues amassed throughout the 3 times, I offer to you upon visualized oceans of clouds like Samantabhadra's offerings. So again, I think I told you the story of Samantabhadra, why this is like this. We say, because we don't know how to make offerings, and just to make sure that we make the offerings properly, we say, I offer like Samantabhadra, because he knows how to do this. He offers it also with a good knowledge of that everything is empty, but still existing as a dependent arising. So with a lot of joy, you know, not harming the environment, not having to spend money, but limitless, we offer. So we learn to give. We get in touch with the joy of offering when you become very creative. You offer beautiful, exquisite, magnificent things. Then with the 4 opponent powers that you all know, my mind being oppressed by the stifling darkness of ignorance, I have done many wrongs against reason and vows, not just in this life, but in all the previous lives also. Whatever mistakes I have made in the past, with a deep sense of regret, I pledge never to repeat them, and without reservation, I confess everything to you. Main thing is that we confess, that we recognize that yes, I am doing negative actions, without shame, without guilt, with a lot of kind of a very sober mind, say, yeah, I am doing actions that are not helpful. They're not constructive. They're leading me away from full awakening. I want to do something about that. But then also we rejoice about all the good things that we and others do. From the depths of my heart, I rejoice in the enlightening deeds of the Sublime Masters and in the virtuous actions past, present, and future, performed by myself and all others as well, and by ordinary and exalted beings of the 3 sacred traditions. Okay, I think the 3 sacred traditions are the Shravaka vehicle, the Pratyeka Buddha vehicle, and the Bodhisattva vehicle. Then also very important to show the Buddhas that we want teachings. I request you to awaken every living being from the sleep of ordinary and instinctive defilements with the divine music of the Dharma's pure truth, resounding with the melody of the profoundness and peace, and in accordance with the dispositions of your various disciples. So we open ourselves up to receive teachings, then, you know, in order to purify negativities we have created in relationship with the gurus, we entreat them to have a long life. I entreat you to firmly establish your feet upon the indestructible Vajra throne in the indissoluble state of Evam, the subtle drop in our heart, until every sentient being gains the calm breath of joy in the state of final realization, unfettered by the extremes of worldliness or tranquil liberation, meaning free from samsara or free from abiding nirvana. What we want is a non-abiding nirvana. Then the dedication, probably, yes. I dedicate fully my virtuous actions of all 3 times so that I may receive continuous care from a master and attain full enlightenment for the benefit of all through accomplishing my prayers, the supreme deed of Samantabhadra. Then again, we offer a perfect universe. By the virtue of offering to you, assembly of Buddhas visualized before me, this mandala built on a base resplendent with flowers, saffron water, and incense, Adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, as well as the sun and the moon, may all sentient beings share in this boundless effects. This offering I make of a precious jeweled mandala, together with other pure offerings and wealth and the virtues we have collected throughout the 3 times with our body, speech, and mind. O my masters, my yidams, and the 3 precious jewels, I offer all to you with unwavering faith, accepting these out of your boundless compassion. Send forth to me waves of your inspiring strength. And as you offer it, you give it away, this perfect universe, it absorbs into Chenresik's heart, or in the Shri, which is the heart of Chenresik, which is at the heart of His Holiness Dalai Lama. Nidam Guru Ranna Mandalakam Niryatayami. And it dissolves into his heart. So from the Shri, at the heart of Avalokiteshvara, seated in the heart of my Venerable Master, flow streams of nectar of rays of 5 colors, penetrating the crown of my head, eliminating all obscurations and endowing me with both common and exclusive powerful attainments. So maybe we do these 5 colors first that clear away the hindrances. So the first one is white light coming from the Guru's brow. I know here it's not so explicit, but you can really do it like this, like in the Tara practice that we do. The first one is white light coming from the Guru's brow, entering our brow, and purifying negativities we have done with the body, but also through anger. And as it enters our body, we can visualize that it dissolves all the solidity of the body. Already the body becomes very spacious. It keeps its form, but it becomes spacious, like an empty tent, and gets filled with this white light. The negativities leave your body through your lower doors. This is so we learn to move the energies upwards and downwards. This is then for highest yoga, for other tantric practices. Just gets pushed out through the lower doors, disappears into the earth, never to be seen again. And from the 5 Buddha families, this is Vairochana, and it purifies our contaminated aggregate of form and nourishes our mirror-like wisdom to see things as they are. Then you have red light coming from the Guru's throat, entering your throat, this time filling your body with red light, very bright red light, and pushing the negativities upwards, and they come out through your mouth, nose, ears. And this is Amitabha Buddha of the 5 Buddha families, transforming or purifying our impure aggregate. Impure means in the nature of suffering, not because it's dirty or anything like this, because impure because it's not right, it's mistaken. So our impure aggregate of discrimination or perception, sometimes it's called also of the 5 aggregates. And it also purifies negativities we have done with the speech and through greed or desire or attachment. And it nourishes the wisdom of discrimination or our perception. And the negativities come out, as I said, through your upper doors, mouth, ears, nose. In whatever form you think these negativities of speech look, be creative. Let your mind find something that is meaningful. Then you have blue light coming from the Buddha's, from Chenresik's heart, the Guru's heart, entering your heart chakra, middle of upper body, purifying especially wrong views and, you know, the other negativities of the mind, like covetousness and envy and harmful thoughts, sorry. Purifying our impure aggregate of consciousness, nourishing from the five wisdom, the wisdom of the Dharma Dhatu, the sphere of suchness. And yeah, of course, you know, purifying the mind. And this time, the negativities don't go anywhere. It's just like a light being switched on in a room. No matter if the room was in darkness for millions of years, the moment you switch on the light, the darkness goes. It doesn't go anywhere. Because why? Because what we think is there is not really there. An illusion doesn't have to go anywhere to disappear. An illusion just has to be understood as an illusion. So this is what is happening here now. It's Akshobhya Buddha, blue in color. That's why the blue light, and your body fills with this blue light. Then you have yellow light coming from the Guru's navel chakra, entering your navel chakra. That's Ratnasambhava of the five Buddha families, purifying our impure aggregate of sensations or feelings. Nourishing the wisdom of equanimity, that, you know, there's no such thing that from its own side is good or bad. Like all sensations anyway, they are impermanent, they need conditions, and they're bound up with suffering if we kind of go good and bad. This I want, this I don't want. And is also purifying our arrogance and miserliness. Body fills itself with this yellow light. Then you have green light coming from the Guru's kind of, what they call hidden chakra or secret chakra, the sexual chakra. And it's Amoga Siddhi, which purifies our impure aggregate of compositional factors. Purifies also actions we have done out of jealousy and envy, and nourishes the all-accomplishing wisdom, which then acts with the kind of support of the four other wisdoms of a Buddha, then acts spontaneously, uninterruptedly, and effortlessly. Then you visualize all five lights coming together and purifying even the most subtle imprints that still remain. Okay. So these are these five colors, these five lights, which have to do with the five wisdoms, the five Buddha families, purifying the five contaminated aggregates, which are samsara, and so on. And so we can recite the name mantra of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And if you can, you know, you can think now these five lights come together and enter the crown, or these five specific places, whatever you feel more comfortable. And thinking that if something is still left, then now this gets purified. Om Guru Vajadara Bhattara Mandu Shri Vagindra Sumati Jnana Shasana Dara Samudra Shri Hum Hum Om Guru Vajadara Bhattara Mandu Shri Vagindra Sumati Jnana Shasana Dara Samudra Shri Badasavasidi Hum Hum Guru Vajadara Batara Mandushi Vagindra Sumati Chnana Shasana Dara Samudra Shri Bhadra Sarvasiddhi Hung Hung Om A Guru Vajadara Batara Mandushi Sumati Chnana Shasana Dara Samudra Shri Bhadra Sarvasiddhi Hung Hung Om A Guru Vajadara Batara Mandushi Vagindra Sumati Chnana Shasana Samudra Shri Bhadra Sarvasiddhi Hung Hung Om A Guru Vajadara Batara Manjushi Vagindra Sumati Chnana Shasana Dara Samudra Bhadra Sarvasiddhi Hung Hung Om A Guru Vajadara Manjushi Batara Manjushi Vagindra Sumati Chnana Shasana Dara Samudra Shri Bhadra Sarvasiddhi Hung Hung. Then we think we really have received like the blessings to actually internalize these steps on the graduated path, or at least to support. Bestow on me your blessings to be devoted to my master with the purest thoughts and actions, gaining confidence that you, O compassionate Holy Master, are the basis of temporary and everlasting bliss. For you elucidate the true path free from all deception and embody the totality of refuges past number. Bestow on me your blessings to live a life of Dharma, undistracted by the illusory preoccupations of this life. For well I know that these leisures and endowments can never be surpassed by countless treasures of vast wealth, and that this precious form, once attained, cannot endure. For at any moment of time, it may easily be destroyed. So think about, we are all sure that we will live at least another week. Or we're all sure that we will go to bed tonight. Well, how can we be sure? Yeah, the total illusion there. Bestow on me your blessings to cease actions of non-virtue and accomplish wholesome deeds by being always mindful of the causes and effects from kind and harmful acts, while revering the three precious jewels as the ultimate source of refuge and most trustworthy protection from the unendurable fears of unfortunate rebirth states. Bestow on me your blessings to practice the three higher trainings, motivated by firm renunciation gained from the clear comprehension that even the prosperity of the Lord of the Devas is merely a deception, like a siren's alluring spell. Bestow on me your blessings to master the oceans of practice, cultivating immediately the supreme enlightened motivation by reflecting on the predicament of all mother sentient beings who have nourished me with kindness from beginningless time and now are tortured while ensnared within one extreme or other, either on the wheel of suffering or in tranquil liberation. Bestow on me your blessings to generate the yoga combining mental quiescence with penetrative insight, in which the 100,000-fold splendor of voidness, forever free from both extremes, reflects without obstruction in the clear mirror of the immutable meditation. Bestow on me your blessings to observe in strict accordance all the vows and words of honor that form the root of powerful attainments, having entered through the gate of the extremely profound Tantra by the kindness of my all-proficient master. Bestow on me your blessings to attain within this lifetime the blissful Mahamudra of the union of body and wisdom, through severing completely my all-creating karmic energy with wisdom's sharp sword of the non-duality of bliss and emptiness. So having made request in this way for the development in your mind stream of the entire path of Sutra and Tantra, and thus having done a glance meditation on them, now recite the 6 syllable mantra in connection with the merging of the spiritual master into your heart. So now we let go of who we think we are, and we think my supreme master, requested in this way, now blissfully descends through the crown of my head. Again, the feeling of this master is like when you want to help somebody and you know how to help somebody, but this person refuses to be helped. You know how you feel. Now the Buddhists, they don't feel like this. For them, it's like, but still, and then finally the person says, please help me. So can you imagine how joyfully this master now dissolves into us? Yeah, because out of this wish to help us, out of this, as quickly as possible, they have to attain the same state as I have attained. This is why he blissfully descends through the crown of my head and dissolves in the indestructible point at the center of my 8-petaled heart. So actually, it's quite good before my master emerges on the moon, but before he comes back up, it's really good to dissolve everything into emptiness and to really go step by step. And, I take this now here from the sadhana of the Tara practice, which is, it's not quite clear, but I'm pretty sure it's from Lama Yeshe, who really, when he was teaching on Mahamudra, he really talked about spaciousness, about light, about, no obstacles and all these kind of things. So I'll just read it out because I find this very, very helpful to do this absorption first into emptiness and then re-emerging as, the master. Or in this case here, he comes back in your heart. So first you dissolve everything into space like emptiness, and you think or imagine that the entire universe dissolves into empty space. Your place, the planet, the galaxy, this universe and all the beings in it, which we cling to as so real, as existing from its own side, just dissolves into vast empty space. A bit like breath on a mirror. You blow on a mirror, then it makes kind of this like fog, and then it just melts. Or when you take a shower in the morning, then you open the window, a bit like this. And whatever images now still arise because you have your eyes closed, most probably to think, yeah, just imagination. Just like an illusion. And I firmly believe in it, although it's just a projection of my mind. So you dissolve all this. Or, like the screen in the cinema, when only the projector, the light of the projector is left, and all the pictures are gone. Everything that we project outside, first we dissolve. Then, more difficult, you dissolve your body. The basis of this I, the thing we know most, identify with most. You imagine that from your feet up towards your heart chakra and from your crown down towards your heart chakra, it just dissolves. You feel that everything absorbs into your heart chakra. I know if you've never done this before, it's very difficult to do, but just try, and just, you feel your body, you think you feel your body, but what you perceive is sensations. But then you immediately, the mind makes a picture, and the picture is not accurate. Because when you kind of feel your foot, you see your foot, but only from the outside. You don't see bones and sinews and flesh and muscles, and blood and whatever else is in there. So again, you think, okay, I think that the body is real, but actually it's just a projection of the mind. Or try to feel your ear, If it doesn't make contact with something, you can't feel it. You can imagine feeling it. This you can do, but you don't. And you touch it, then look what image comes up. Try to touch your ear, And again, be creative. Try to make this alive. You touch your ear. See what picture comes up. Picture of a full ear. Wow. Is this really accurate? What you feel? You feel smooth or cold or warm or hard, But you don't feel ear. Ear is just a name, just a label. And what we perceive is just sensation. So all this dissolves. kind of the projection of inherently existing body. That one is nowhere to be found. Then you dissolve your thoughts, these elaborate conceptual constructions, all the thoughts of I, which have no basis in reality, which are completely made up, a hallucination, as Lama Zopa says, all of it dissolves into empty space, not one atom left. So again, with the thoughts, we can see it's just a projection of the mind. But then we believe what they say is true. So you just let them go. And you think all that there's left is your Guru Avalokiteshvara consciousness, very subtle, pure, as vast as space. And you think, I am the Dharmakaya. You think this is who I am. Feel completely blissful because this is your nature. And you feel that you're in the nature of emptiness. You just stay in that, you cannot describe it really, but it is spacious, has no limits, it's luminous. And you can think, this is I, but I or me not separate from this spaciousness, but just a label. Try not to be too intellectual here. Just try to perceive space. We can perceive space. Spaciousness inside. Maybe then some subtle, still the body and spaciousness outside. And then, but because we have generated bodhicitta, we don't just want to sit in that empty space and enjoy ourselves, but we want to be a benefit to others. So then we think, now my master re-emerges on a moon and lotus, probably at my heart. Now in his heart sits Avalokiteshvara, within whose heart is the letter Hri. Encircled by a rosary of the 6-syllable mantra, the source from which streams of nectar flow, eliminating all obstacles and every disease and expanding the knowledge of the scriptural and insight teachings of the Buddha. Thus, I receive the entire blessings of the victorious ones and their children. You could also do the dissolution here, actually. Then a radiant light shines forth to cleanse away defects from all beings and their environment. In this way, I attain the supreme yogic state, transforming every appearance, sound, and thought into the 3 secret ways of the exalted ones. So here you can really, out of that emptiness, you can arise as Avalokiteshvara. If you want, with like standing on lotus and moon with 2 legs, 1,000 arms, 11 heads. In his heart sits the wisdom being with 4 arms, and in his heart the silver Hri. And from all this, then light is going out now from your, where you are, your body, because you have become fully enlightened Buddha. And it's coming out, not just from sometimes say light is coming from your heart, but imagine light is coming from all your body, through all your, from like a light bulb or the sun who shines light in all directions, going very far, touching each and every sentient being, and immediately kind of turning them, transforming them into Jinvesi. Again, here you can be very creative. Let the mind a little bit free. Where would you want to send the light? First, of course, to your loved ones, but then don't forget the 6 realms beings. And even if you cannot, if you cannot visualize clearly and each one and all this, just think, You know, I'm like the sun. I'm Avalokiteshvara, sending out, supporting, healing lights, bringing relief, bringing whatever people need in order to be able to transform into Avalokiteshvara. And then you don't have to worry so much about specific visualizations. If you can visualize specifically, very good. If not, you know, don't get tense, don't get so uptight. Oh, I have to do this right. You know, main thing is you're relaxed, awake, good heart, and you think, wow, now I am Avalokiteshvara. I'm sending out the light, which supports beings to attain full awakening, and like this, they all transform into Avalokiteshvara. No mani pemme hung, oh 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 mani pemme hung, mani pemme. You can just continue with the visualization, like the light going out spontaneously from your whole body, you know, left, right, behind, in front, above, below, and bringing relief, support, healing, wisdom, compassion, bliss, knowing about emptiness, everything that beings need. Oh, mani pemme hung. Oh, mani. Oh, mani pemme hung. Oh, mani. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, mani pemme hung. So of course here, you know, you can do many malas of Om Mani Padme Hum, but at this point also what you can do is Tonglen, which I think you do sometimes combined with this practice. I don't know if you do it here or somewhere else, but to have this feeling of, you know, being a fully awakened being, having a body that is made out of light, that is spacious, like when you do Tonglen, it's really important to create that spaciousness because otherwise it comes really heavy. So then you think, you know, nothing to be afraid of. May all beings be free from suffering. I take it away from them, not for me to experience it, but you think that the spaciousness, or again, you can be so creative, the tree, maybe the tree in your heart, the innermost of your heart chakra is a filter. Yeah. The rest of your body, the same way as you sent out light before, yeah, now you draw it in, but you're not drawing in light, but you're drawing in darkness, heavy. It's good to, when you do Tonglen, to work with texture. So you think, however suffering feels, heavy, dark, sticky, bleh, hot, yeah, whatever we usually, oh no, thank you, I don't want. Nothing to be afraid of. We're just going to transform it with our compassion in our heart, which is the silver free, also knowing about emptiness. So like a vacuum cleaner, it just sucks it in spontaneously. Same way you send out spontaneously light before, you suck in all the darkness, all the heaviness. So you can do it in a very general way, or you can, of course, do it thinking about specific people or about yourself. So maybe you think about the situation that causes you pain, fear, anxiety, nervousness. And then again, always, when we suffer, hey, come on, I'm not the only one. Then you think, because I find this painful, so let this pain become the cause for other beings' enlightenment and for my enlightenment. So since I experienced this anyway, and I think of all other people who experience this as well, as you breathe in, you think like this vacuum cleaner just draws it in. However texture you think that this pain has, as I said, dark, hot, sticky, don't know. And then it gets transformed. And as you breathe out, now again, the light goes out in all directions. And it brings relief, support to all these beings who experience the same pain as you do. So also Chogyam Trungpa, when he explains Tonglen, first do it very general, very simple, like bad in, good out, bad in, good out, until the feeling of what comes in and what goes out kind of synchronizes with your breathing. And don't forget the transformation. Don't forget the breathing out, this light, relief, support, coolness, freshness. Again, texture. So breathe in all the heaviness, all the darkness, all the stickiness, all the hotness, heat. As you breathe out, light, healing, fresh, cool, supporting. And slowly, slowly, again, everybody around you transforms into Chenrezig. The obstacles of being Chenrezig being taken in by you, going through the filter of the free, the union of bliss and emptiness, being transformed into light, cool, fresh, healthy, healing. But you can also think about somebody specific if you want, again, with Tonglen, it has so many forms. You can maybe think about somebody you don't know personally, somebody you know from TV, or I saw a movie today. I was at the doctor's and in the waiting room, there was a movie about child labor in Bangladesh. It's like, wow, And if you can look at this and not just feel bad, But to look at this, even if it's pictures on a TV screen, and think, oh, these kids, take away their suffering, their fear, their pain, their stuckness in this situation. And when you breathe out, you give them whatever you think they need in form of better conditions, education, kind of sharing, the rich people sharing with them. Possibilities to do a kind of different job, whatever. And then with time, all of a sudden when we keep doing this feeling of solid me, solid I becomes much lighter. And we might even get a glimpse of emptiness. And with time, we see that, because we have this method, we can even go and visit people that we know personally that are totally stuck. We feel totally helpless. We don't want to go and see them, but we're capable of still going to visit them with an open heart and without fear, and without being tense and kind of all ooh, and being there and waiting to go home again. Okay, so then whatever I wanted to scroll and I thought, oh, it's not working. I'm not in control, Talia. So then, again, because we have such low self-confidence that we always think, oh, it was not complete, oh, I wasn't concentrated, oh, I didn't have enough devotion or faith or whatever. So then very happily we think, oh, great. But thanks to Vajrasattva, I can let go of all of this. And again, light is coming, flushing out all the mistakes we have made, whatever mistakes we think we have made. And so we recite this mantra, letting go of all low self-confidence that we are able to do things properly. Om Vashasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vashasattva Deno Patishta Didyo Me Bhava Sutokayo Me Bhava Supokayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Savasidi Me Prayacha Sava Karma Sucha Me Chitashiyan Kuruhung Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Savatata Mame Muncha Vaja Bhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aum Pe. Then we do this dedication, and then Talia, you can read out your dedication. In the glorious 100,000-fold radiance of the useful moon of wholesome practice, from the blue jasmine garden of victorious treasures minds, method of truth, may the seeds of explanation and accomplishment germinate, yeah, and flower across this vast earth. May the ensuing auspiciousness beautify everything until the limit of the universe. By flying high above the three realms, the never vanishing great jeweled banner of religious and secular rule, laden with millions of virtues and perfect accomplishments, may myriad wishes for benefit and bliss pour down, having banished afar the dark weight of this era's degeneration, across the extent of the earth's sapphire held by a celestial maiden, may all living creatures overflow with spontaneous gaiety and joy in the significant encompassing brilliance of happiness and bliss. In short, O protector, by the power of your affectionate care, may I never be parted from you throughout the rosaries of my lives. May I proceed directly with an ease beyond effort unto the great city of unification, the all-powerful cosmic state itself. By the force of the, okay, that's okay, fine. So you can read your dedication list, Talia, and then if people have questions, I can try to answer them.
Okay. I will share my screen for dedication. Yes.
Thank you, Talia. So you see, all the good things that will come from doing this practice, this is amazing. I think Geshe Sherab, you can take him off. He's well. He's okay, because he wrote to me. So that he
Okay.
thanks everybody for having made prayers, and but you can take him off.
Okay, I will do that.
Do you have questions? You know, you're really lucky that from now on Talia is leading this practice, because me, I go blah, blah, blah in between all the time. And I know it's sometimes a bit tedious, because people just want to practice. They don't want to listen to too much blah, blah, blah. But maybe just hearing it once, then it helps a bit to understand what you know, what is what. But it's also not totally necessary. You don't need to remember everything. It's just, and I really, if you do something like this, you know, don't judge after 3 times, say, well, nothing's working. If you do it continuously, then all of a sudden you start to feel the effect. It's like with physiotherapy or learning the piano or whatever. You just have to do it. And then you start to not understand, how to say, you start to not understand intellectually, but you start to understand a more subtle level what this is all about. And you start to feel the connection with the deity also. And you start to have confidence that, wow, yeah, this is what I want, and I can really do this. And of course, you know, then finally doing a retreat, that's the best, like doing either a group retreat. And when I say retreat, I mean a month at least, or something like that, you know, not just one weekend. I know that in the West we call one weekend a retreat. It's, yeah, okay, why not? But still. But then you really get the connection, and you go, you know, the mind goes up and down and up and down and up and down. But then also when you do just once a week, then it has much more impact, because you have done a retreat. Yeah.